Morning. This is TMI Socials. Welcome on board. I am Anwoluwapo Stevens. Better still call me a social media butterfly. Always an unending drama right here on the street of social media. And this morning we'll begin with the biggest story trending right now. As we saw yesterday, that President Bola Tinubu has declared a state of emergency in Rivers State following the protracted political crisis in the state. Well, he made the proclamation during a nationwide broadcast yesterday, suspending Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu and all the members of the House of Assembly for 6 months. The president nominated Vice Admiral Ibokette Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state for the first 6 months. The president relied on Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution to make the proclamation. And also, yesterday, we saw heavily armed military personnel in trucks stationed at the entrance of the Rivers State Government House, Port Harcourt, following the president's declaration. Let's listen to the president and we'll move over to other stories.
By Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the Governor of Rivers State, Mr. Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly state are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate.
Now, here are 3 things you need to know about the new administrator of Rivers State. Number 1, he was the chief of naval staff from 2015 up until 2021. And number 2, he was born in Cross River, where he is from, and he had his early education there. Number 3, he went to the Nigerian Defense Academy in 1979, from where he proceeded to have a successful career in the Navy, rising through the ranks to the very top. And he has, of course, 3 children. That's an addition there for you. But moving over to interesting tweets and to see how a lot of Nigerians are taking it, especially Atiku Abubakar. With the first tweet here, he says, the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State reeks of political manipulation and outright bad faith. Anyone paying attention to the unfolding crisis knows that Bola Tinubu has been a vested partisan actor in the political turmoil engulfing Rivers. His balanced refusal or calculated negligence in preventing the escalation is nothing short of disgraceful. Another user says something else, this time from Dele Momodu. Those who fail to learn the lessons of history often become its victims. I have nothing but pity for those who seek to capture Nigeria, either brazenly or superstitiously, instead of a simple call to Wike by the president asking him to face his assignment in Abuja and leave Rivers State alone. Tinubu prefers to over-pamper a troublemaker by throwing away an elected government through the back door. Okay. Finally, on the story, this user, Fouls the Bad Guy, says, Rivers State, there is absolutely no law that allows the president to suspend a governor. A governor is elected into office and may only be removed by impeachment. Also, is Rivers State at war? Is there actual breakdown of public order? Is there a threat to the existence of the Federation? Well, a lot of interesting questions there, if you ask me. But away from that, now speaking about the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, he was interestingly also in the news yesterday, as we did hear that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has revoked the land occupancy rights of the National Secretariat of his party, the People's Democratic Party in Abuja. Now, in a letter dated March 13, 2025, and addressed to the PDP National Chairman Umar Damagu, the Director of Land Administration at the FCT Administration, Chijoke, hinged the revocation on the non-payment of ground rent by the party. Now, can we have the press release that was flying all over social media yesterday? If we could have that as we move over to reactions on this particular story. Okay, so now our first user wrote, "He is doing the right thing and we should all support him. Every land that is faulty and refuse to pay annual ground rent, no matter the position you own, should be evoked. Only in Nigeria you use sentiment. How can a whole PDP not pay annual ground rent for 20 years? How would Nigeria be better? If you are part of the default for 20 years for not paying the annual ground rent, that's an example of you showing to the mayor Nigeria." Okay, Wike, thank you. Not sure what you wrote there, though. But anyway, moving over to another reaction on this story from this user who says, "Nigerians and sentiments, hypocrites all over. Other buildings and business owners are disturbed for not paying tax for land in Abuja, but now that they revoke PDP Secretariat for owing 20 years tax, una they complain. Instead of you guys to be happy, say them they fight themselves in big ways, una they online, they pity PDP." Okay, finally on this story, okay, we could have another tweet. But anyway, away from that now, let's move over to something even better. As yesterday we saw on social media where the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has finally opened a TikTok page days after former Kaduna State Governor Ngozi Odu joined the platform. Now, Obi announced his arrival on TikTok via his X handle yesterday, saying, "This is my official and only TikTok page. Kindly join me towards building a new Nigeria that is possible." Take a listen to Peter Obi.
"This is my official and only TikTok page. Kindly join me towards building a new Nigeria that is possible. This is my..."
Absolutely, a new Nigeria, a better Nigeria is possible on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok, I don't know what else you'll be doing right now. But anyway, let's move over to tweets and see how Nigerians reacted to this interesting story. Well, this user wrote, "I'm proud of your perseverance and dedication. One day, you will be the president of Nigeria, no matter how long it takes. Let's keep the dream flying high, Mr. Peter." Another user wrote, "He won't build Nigeria on TikTok. Hey, tell me about it." Now, moving over to other reaction on the story, this user says, "TikTok president." How bad now? That's too harsh. Now, finally on the story, "Is it by joining TikTok they build the country? I don't know. Well, I'm just asking." Oh. Anyway, away from that, moving over to another interesting story on social media, where we saw yesterday that the Senate has passed for second reading a bill mandating social media platforms to have physical and verifiable offices in Nigeria. Now, the bill also proposed that bloggers operating in Nigeria must have clear records and data of their employees. The bill was sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko of Delta North here in Nigeria. Let's listen to him.
Mr. President, this bill, therefore, is not an attack on these platforms. It's a call for equity and fairness. It's a demand for respect and recognition of Nigeria's status as a global leader in digital engagement. In furtherance of our commitment to a structured and accountable digital space, this bill also mandates all bloggers operating in Nigeria to have an office that is verifiable in any of the capital cities across the country. They must keep proper records of the employees and belong to recognized national bodies, which shall have its headquarters in Abuja. We cannot continue to have a situation where individuals operate anonymously, spreading information mostly false, without any structure or accountability. Just like traditional media houses, bloggers must be properly registered and regulated to ensure professionalism, transparency, and responsibility in their operations. Mr. President and my colleagues, I urge all to support the passage of this bill. It's a bold step towards ensuring that Nigeria's digital space is not only vibrant, but also fair and just for all stakeholders.
But bloggers are slightly different.
Now, wondering how Nigerians reacted to this story, let's have a couple of tweets and see what you have been saying online. We'll begin with this first user who wrote, "This man is always going off point on issues that needs to be faced in this country." Eyes of the Gods on Instagram says that word. Another user says something else. If we could have that. Okay, now moving over to the next reaction. This one says, "Misplaced priorities." Moving over to something else as we tend to wrap up, this user says, "The Senate's steady channeling energy to highly irrelevant things and consistently sweeping important issues under the carpet. God help Nigeria." And can Sunny Duke say amen?
Amen.
Right. So, which of the stories did you want to react to?
This is quite very striking because it's been there. And I think the recent incident involving the copper in Lagos, who went on air and was ranting, expressing herself, has also lent some credence to that. But I think it's something that needs to be looked into critically, because when you use the institutions of state to suppress voices, opinions, and views and perspectives, it's certainly not healthy for democracy. You are trying to stifle democracy. When people can't speak up, react to issues that you created, somehow, then there's a huge problem. All of the challenges that we have in the country today are products of irresponsible leadership. If you have the right leadership in place that truly cares and is concerned about the plight of Nigerians, they will enact policies, initiate programs that will have direct bearing on the lives of the people. And then you don't have a situation where people will go into the media space, social media, to start ranting and expressing themselves. I mean, that's even the reason why we have the social media there, where people can interact, they can engage, they can view themselves. We're asking government to be more responsible, to live up to the expectations of the people, and then all of this ranting that you see will be a thing of the past.
Absolutely. And interestingly, some of these political appointees also come on the same social media to campaign.
To engage. I mean, they've started already.
Yes.
El-Rufai, immediately he moved from SDP, from APC to SDP, created a TikTok handle.
And then yesterday we saw Peter Obi.
Peter Obi has followed.
Maybe.
I'm sure many more will follow.
Do you have a TikTok page?
Of course I do. But you see, they are beginning to realize the power of social media. Absolutely. And that is where you can find the youths. So they want to connect with the youth. That forms a very sizable population about our election. And that seems to be where the problem is.